themselves already some flying laps at the moment. But yeah, Jeff, what do you have to, Jess, what do you have to say about this circuit?
Well, it's one of those tracks where you get a lot of great battles. Obviously, we've seen that in real life due to the rain, and weather can really play a havoc here. And there's just some corners that remind me of Austria in a way. The lap is quite short, but not as short as Austria. And there's also some uphill and some downhill as well. And in particular, people need to watch out for, there's pretty much 2 to 3 DRS straights in a row, so they got to be pretty on it in terms of DRS, because that could be the best opportunity for overtaking.
Well, let's see how that one goes. By the way, Jess, are you messing with your microphone?
No?
Okay, it's like I was getting some background noise as if you were breathing into it.
Oh, right.
Sure.
There we go. I think it was closer to my mouth, sorry.
Okay, don't worry. Okay, so in the meantime, we have Shadow, Plexit, who gets himself provisory pole with a 112.6. Not too bad of a lap. I do believe the medium runners can do, the hard tire runners can still do a bit better than that. But let's see how the times drop throughout the session. Shadow was saying in chat that he's having issues with his wheel, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to race or not. I know that Cisco has already crashed out of the session, so once again, the Portuguese not having the greatest of performances. But let's see how that one goes, as we have a couple debutees, don't we, Jess?
Yes, we do. We have quite a few, actually. A few people that are reserves, a few people that are going to be full-time. First of all, a few swapping teams, as Hixie has either left or become a reserve. Miscue was in a Mercedes and is now moved to Red Bull to replace Hixie's seat. And to replace Hixie in the Mercedes is our new full-time driver, VSR Bed, and I know him to be very quick and good at combat drives, so I'll be keeping my eye out on him as well. And then we got 2 more reserves who are replacing a few people tonight. I'm just trying to find them. There we go. We've got Echoes, who is a reserve in the McLaren tonight, is making his debut, and Jax, who is reserve for Racing Point. So all those 3 have their first races in ILR PC.
Exactly. So let's see how they perform. Jax FO is currently in P3, Bird in P4. Jax FO is currently in the pits on the mediums. Don't know if his first lap was on the mediums. From that lap time, I don't think so, as Ray is going to close out his lap, and is he going to get it nullified? Yes, he did. At the exit of turn 11, he got it nullified, so unfortunately for him, he's going to have to give it another go. We have Mist Q's making his debut for the Red Bull team, as he still hasn't changed the colors on his helmet. That's how on short notice that change was. But yeah, he's gotten fired from the Mercedes. At least he found a spot in Milton Keynes with the Red Bull team, and he's going to be closing out a lap on the soft. So let's see how it goes, as he's getting himself through the hairpin of turn 13, or getting himself to turns 14 and 15, where if it becomes wet, we might see a few cars getting out of shape, and he's actually going to abort his lap. Sorry?
He's going to the pits, so I think he must be validated.
Yeah, I think he was just not trying to do a lap on softs, because he doesn't want to start on softs, so it's just getting a bit of practice in, getting to the pits, just like his teammate Kruzix, who's gotten himself up to P2 at this point. But Jess, while we are waiting for some drivers to get their laps, do you want to make take any chances on the top 3?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. I am probably going to say, for pole, I'm going to say it's probably going to be Plexit, and then it's going to be Ray, and I'm going to put Kruzix P3. That's just a wild guess, to be honest. I'm not that good at predictions, that's why I hardly ever make them in ILR. So, but I know Ray is good at qualifying, but in the race is where he loses it, so hopefully we can see difference. Obviously we saw last week, we seen a big collision between the 2 leaders, which was Ray and I think it was Lemon,
Yeah, it was.
So hopefully we won't see the same tonight.
Hopefully, I mean, it will spice things up if it happens again. That's for sure. But yeah, it wouldn't be the greatest. Of course, we like to see the quickest drivers if they deserve it the most, because they are the quickest. Usually, we like to see them win. But of course, having some drama doesn't hurt anyone. At least at this point, as Miss Q is getting. Oh, sorry, I'm not following Miss Q. Where am I actually following? I'm following the other Toro Rosso, and this is Corporal Carrot. Yes, exactly, Corporal Carrot is making himself 9th place so far, 114.4, not the cleanest lap from him so far, as Curly joins his teammate in the second row of the grid, and about joining his teammates, there goes Shadow, P2 at the moment, with a 112.5. Look at how close it was between them, as Curly gets new provisory pole with a 112.1 on the medium. So I don't think this is the fastest lap one can achieve on the mediums.
No.
But yeah, at least he got himself provisory pole so far, and maybe a bit of an ego boost, just like I got myself when I got P3 on the mediums in RNL, thinking I was going to get something special there, but then a couple minutes later I was back down to P11. So it is what it is, I guess. So in terms of my top 3, I mean, I've gotten a bit more data to work with, I guess, because it's closer to the end and more people have done laps. But I do think Ray could do something good, even though he's on the yards 10th place at the moment on his 3rd lap, so he hasn't been able to hook up a lap. But I do think Ray could get himself pole if he gets it together. And then I think Shadow could beat Plexits at the end, so I'm going Ray, Shadow, and Plexits for the top 3. Let's see how that one goes.
Okay, I would take that. I would take that. We got sort of similar predictions. It's good. And I did see a Mercedes in the grass. I wasn't sure which Mercedes it was, but it's not Ray's. He's gone into the pits, so it must have been Bird. But he's gone into the pits as well. So speaking of lap times, high 11s, I think, for the mediums is what we could expect. But if someone wants to try on the soft tyres, which I don't recommend because the softs don't last very long at all. If you want to go on the soft tyres, you're most likely going to do a 2-stop. 110s for the softs, but definitely 111s for the mediums. I haven't seen anyone do a 110 on the mediums before, but maybe someone could prove people wrong. And I've just been informed by the drivers in the chat that it's going to be a dry race today, so no rain to be seen, luckily, because we have seen a lot of rain this season in ILR PC.
Well, it does spice things up, especially races like France, for example. They got really spiced up. But Miss Q is in the meantime going to get himself P2 on the softs. Ooh, that's gonna hurt a bit because it's on the softs. If you don't beat someone on the mediums using the softs, that's not a good sign, I would say. It's a 12-2, unless he can get on the 11s on the mediums. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull it off, but not a good sign, not a good initial sign, as we have the retirements of Cisco and Superior GR, so the Toro Rosso driver, or the reserve that's today driving for the Toro Rosso, is also not getting a good start of the day. And also is not getting a great start is Echoes. Echoes is on his debut and looks like he had a collision with someone or something.
Oh, he lost his... Wow, he lost his front wing.
Yeah, he's lost it completely. He hasn't been able to set a lap time just yet, so it's not going smooth sailing for the reserve driver on his debut. Sky Bashimi is about to complete his lap on a set of softs, so going to be interesting to see what the youngster does. The youngster who has been able to string a good series of results, he's gotten himself out of the last 5 races, he got himself 4 times on the top 10. His best results of the season came in the last 2 races, where he got 8th place in both of them, in Austria and Silverstone. So he's getting himself an improvement in form. Let's see where he takes it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see more of his consistency. I feel like that he's been improving a lot more this game, and if he has a bad result, he really wants to pick things up. And I can see Germany a good result for him. I've seen him drive in Germany, and he's really good, and particularly in qualifying. But saying that, he's gone into the pits, so he must have been validated somewhere. He wasn't happy with his lap, or he wants to go on the soft, see what it's like, and then go on to the mediums, which is probably what he's going to do. As Bird is getting a toe from the runner there. That's not what he wants. If he's on a lap, no, he's not on a lap, so that's all right. Panic over.
They are both on outlets, but they have to get out of the way of Jax FO, who's on a lap on the softs. Shadow keeps himself ahead of Bird, but let's see. I don't think those two are going to be racing on the way through Parabolica and into the Spitzker hairpin of turn 6. But yeah, let's see how it goes between those two. For the meantime, we have Jax, who is about to complete a lap. We are going on board after that. It's Shadow, who a bit wide there from the racing point. Not sure if that's a valid lap for him. Nonetheless, going to cross over the line, and new pole, 112.1. So close that was from his teammate as we get on board with Shadow. Just a deft touch on the brake pedal down to 7th gear. Now, just about 80 meters away from turn 2. It's a corner that the car doesn't really like. Lots of understeeriness through there. Nonetheless, he gets a solid exit out of turn 3 and 4, going down into turn 5, taking a bit of the slipstream of the racing point ahead, up through the gears, mode 4 of ERS, before spotting the 100-meter marker sign. That's exactly where he's going hard on the brakes into the Spetska hairpin. Gets himself a good exit, solid on the traction, gets himself through the right kink of turn 7 into turns 8 and 9, also a spot off the track that the car doesn't particularly enjoy. If you take the curbs too hard, you might spin, but on the entry it's very understeery, as now he gets full commitment through turn number 12, the Mobile 1 curve, as he enters the stadium section through turn number 13. The source of some nightmares from Vettel, I'm sure of that, is getting himself through the last few corners of the German layout through Sud curve, corner number 17, or the south corner. He gets himself through the line, and he gets himself the best out of the medium running positions, 112.3, and 5th place for the time being, as Ray gets himself on pole with a 111.8, and look at that, he's the only one to get himself in the 111 so far on the mediums test.
And that's going to really help Ray if he could stay there. I mean, because the mediums can last one stop, and if you qualify in the top 10, you have to start on the tyre that you set your fastest lap on. And looking by the way that Ray's driving at the moment, because he's slowing down, he must be pretty happy with that lap. I don't think he can go any faster by the looks of things. And I did predict a 111 on the mediums, and I was right. And we got Blitzker on the softs, 111.5, which is, I'm surprised to see quite a few people on the softs, to be honest, but I'm guessing they want to do a 2-stop. But Ray, if he can keep this up, he can really hopefully get a good start.
Yeah, especially as he has a few drivers on the softs between him and the other medium runners. Especially if he gets a clean lap and he doesn't lose many places, he's quick enough to keep himself ahead of the soft runners, I guess. And then the other guys behind who started on mediums can't quite get through the soft runners on the initial laps, because the softs obviously still have a bit of performance in them. So Ray could very well start pulling away from his rivals on the one-stop very early on, and he could get himself very big chances or very high chances of coming out with a win.
Yep, as we've got 50 seconds left to go of qualifying, pretty much everyone is out on their laps now, and to get their final laps in for qualifying. And for some of them, they really need to pick up the pace a little bit. They're in the 113s. If they want to get inside the top 10, maybe they need to improve a little bit. Like Iceman did, he's improved himself to 4th on the mediums, and he gets a chance to go again as well. And Jax is on his out lap. I don't think he's going to get a lap in time, but he's got a toe from someone else. Maybe he might get a lap in, I don't know, but it's not going to be a fast one because he's got 15 seconds left and the pressure is really starting to show. I'm just seeing where the two Renaults are. They've been on 2-lap-old mediums whilst on this track, so I'm guessing their first lap wasn't good for them at the moment, and I guess they want to get a final lap on the mediums, but they'll probably be on the same derogation as the softs if they keep this up, but I'm guessing they want to take the gamble and want to have a more harder race.
Exactly. Well, the Renaults, as we have Shadow improved to P3, Bird gets himself P2, beating Ray. So very nicely done from him, as Kaibashimi gets 14th for the time being. We have a torrent of drivers getting themselves through the laps. Echoes has already done his lap. He's coming to the pits. Kruzix has nullified his first lap, so he's going for a faster second lap. Let's see what he does as Ace of Spades beats Kaibashimi to P14. JSR 13th place at the moment, Bailey Thompson, as Ray gets himself new provisory pole, 1:11.5. And what a lap from him on those mediums, even though it's 3 laps old mediums. That can somewhat being like, he could shoot himself in the foot doing that, because these tires are going to have less life in them for the race. The Skurzix is going to be the last one to cross over the line, I guess, and is going to get himself P6. 6/10 improvement on his lap sees him move to a P6 right behind Shadow. And look at that, it's going to be Mercedes with the Williams of Blitzkrieg in P2. Plex, it's in the best of the Renaults, as Bird makes his debut in front of Shadow, our championship leader, closes the top 5. How about that?
Wow, Ray, another pole, because he obviously got one in Silverstone, a very convincing pole at that. It was more dominant in Silverstone, I must say, but I gotta say, Ruben, look at the top 3. That's just separated by 68 thousandths of the top 3. That's how close it is, and that was just goes to show that anything can happen. That one small mistake, even a tiny bit of mistake, could cost you pole position, and even from 1st to 4th is pretty close as well. So I'm excited for this race.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Just like at Silverstone, we have a Williams Mercedes front row.
With different people.
This could get interesting. This could get interesting between the Mercedes and the Williams if Silverstone is anything to go by. As we have Plex in P3, Burt P4, Shadow P5, Cruisix P6, Trex F1 is debut in P7, Iceman 8, iCurly in 9th, Missed Q on his debut for the Red Bull team, also on the softs, closing in top 10. Who do you think has surprised you the most with their results?
I really don't know. I think Blitz surprised me a lot as well, because I was expecting him to be in the midfield, but he produced a very good lap and got P2. So I think usually P2 on this track gets a better run towards the line, like we saw in real life, and he could be winning a good shot, because I think he's on a similar tyre length compared to Ray, so they could be on an even playing field. And we could have some interesting strategies here, since a lot more people are on the soft than we thought.
Exactly. Well, Bailey Thompson, I would like to point him out, because he debuted at France, and he's shown signs of very, very good pace, but he got involved in a pileup. It was like a NASCAR incident. It was like 8 cars involved in the same incident at France. So unfortunately, he got collected in that one. Then at Austria, he also lost the rear, smashed it into the wall, if I'm not mistaken. Then he took a break to recollect himself, didn't show up for Silverstone, and is back for today's Grand Prix, but he qualified in P12. So even Iceman not having the greatest of performance, or at least a performance I wouldn't expect out of him.
Exactly, and I think starting 11th or 12th on this circuit is not too bad, but then we got a 19-car grid. That's probably the most turnout we've ever had in PT. I think the most we've ever had was about 16, 17, so I'm guessing a lot of these drivers are really keen to start. And for those of you that are wondering what the strategy is for today, most people today will either do mediums to hards, which they can go to about lap 15 when they change to the hards, or they'll do hards to mediums where they'll pit about lap 20. And softs, I don't know about softs. I think probably around lap 11, lap 10 is when people go on softs, or maybe a bit early if they want to do a two-stop.
I do believe, sorry to interrupt you, I do believe they are going to have to go sooner on that, like lap 7 or 8, because those players start degrading very quickly, especially if you start on tires that you've run in qualifying. And that's exactly the case for the only soft runners we have today. Blitzkrieg, JaxFO, and Miss Q, they are all starting in the top 10. They are all using tires already used in qualifying. So those the effectiveness of those tires are going to be dropping like a rock, as we have the most popular is the medium tire starts, and we only have 4 drivers starting on the hard. So it is actually Kai Blishimi, Galbavand, JSR, and Bailey Thompson, as we have now everyone forming on the grid. Superior GR and Cisco starting from the back, as they didn't set a lap because they crashed early on the session. And we are getting ready. Ooh, Bailey Thompson, I don't know if something happened with his internet. Nonetheless, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the German Grand Prix. It is a good start from Ray Ray, a bad start from Blitzkrieg. Is already going to get overtaken by Plex. It's around the outside of turn 1. Blitzkrieg drops down to P3. Bird in P4. Jacksafo is going to take a look at the inside of Shadow into turn number 3, and yes, he does. He doesn't quite get the move done though. Blitzkrieg is still dropping places. He's down to P4. Ooh, Jacksafo gets a bit of the squeeze onto the curb there, and we have something going on there. What happened, Jess?
Quite a lot of people going on the grass there. Luckily they didn't hit anything. That was very, very close from Shadow there. He's dropped 2 positions now, and I think Jack's gonna, Racing Point's gonna get past the almost get past the Red Bull, but he couldn't quite do it at the moment. But what a good start from both of the Mercedes cam actually, because VSR Bird's in P3, and we got our first retirement already. The Tour was of Superior GR, so we had a really bad start. Didn't see where he retired, sector 2, and the other Tour was not faring too well either. But I don't think it's any other damage apart from that. Hopefully Bailey can come back soon.
Exactly. Well, the gaps are playing tricks on me. I can't see the gaps between the drivers at this point, but it is Ray Ray maintaining the lead out of the last lap. Blexits up to P2, Bird in P3, Blitzkrieg still maintains his space in the top 5, fortunately enough. Cruisix P5, Jacksafo P6, Shadow P7, Curly in P8, Iceman dropped out to P9 after a good start, and JSR in P10, so good start from him as Miscue makes a mistake, and yes, Spun coming out of turn 1 is in the wall, he has massive damage on his front wing, and he gets himself reset into the track. Corporal Carrot also involved in some drama early on, is going to repeat to a change of front wing. Jumping back to the front, we have Ace of Spades having a go at McLaren as they're going side by side into the hairpin of turn number 6. It's the 32 versus the 76, and the Ferrari takes it away. P11 for the Ferrari for the time being. What about it, Jess? What did you see?
There's a lot more battles going at the front actually. Ray Ray versus Plexis, Cruises versus Jats. It's just going crazy at the moment. It reminds me of real life, to be honest, where there's just so much going on. It's hard to keep up. And look at this, Bird has just got past Plexit. So at the moment, it's Mercedes 1-2, which we've seen quite a lot of that in real life. Not much in the PC ILR lead, but looks like Plexit is struggling on those medium tyres, probably because he was out there longer on those mediums as well. And Blitz might be going for a move soon as well. And potentially Iceman and Jace are having a little scrap for P9 as well. Haven't seen much instance in turn 1 and turn 2 from some of these guys, but so they must be keeping it much cleaner. Shadow's almost lost another position. He's going to try and get the outside from Cruises, but Cruises defends there, and he's up into P6. So the Red Bull keeping consistent and staying where he is, but he's going to try and hunt Jax in the Racing Point. Oh, this is. And Shadow might have another go here into the Parabolica. No, not quite. But, we got the other Racing Point of Curly going around the outside there. What a move from Curly. And he's taking P7 as well. So Shadow is dropping way down the order.
Exactly. I'm a bit surprised. Shadow was having a bit of issues with his wheels, so maybe calibration issues, not sure. He's doing his best to race, but of course he's not on his best performance, and he needs it because the rivals, the ones that are up ahead, are showing signs of having very good pace and to be very good challengers for the races to come. So in terms of the championship, of course, he has a big cushion, but it might get close if he has a few misfortunes along the way, and the guys that are currently ahead can string a couple of good results. For a bit of perspective on the season of the German team, as you said, we haven't seen 1-2s from Mercedes too often. In fact, the Mercedes is the only team with 0 points so far on the standings, as we have Plexit's going to hunt down Bird and Ray Ray. Ray Ray and Bird, they are going to swap positions, as of course they don't really want to step each other's toes at this point. Ray Ray is going to drop to P2. Plexit was too far away to capitalize on the fact that he has the RSs. There's a bit of a tangling moment there. Ooh, there's JSR getting squeezed by Iceman. I know Iceman was trying to get potentially a move on Cruisix or Shadow, but he didn't look on the mirrors, and JSR could have gotten his front wing off of a collision with Iceman. So a bit of a reckless maneuver there. I understand what he is trying to do, but sometimes in the middle of the pack, you do need to look behind you sometimes. Fortunately, no damage for the front wing of the McLaren at the moment. Iceman is going to be pressurizing Kruzix, as I want to point out that Curly has already got himself up to P5. I don't know what he's done. I don't know what he had for breakfast, but after that qualifying session, he decided to get himself on, I don't know what kind of form, but he's getting himself to his debut kind of form, where his debut he got himself P2, and then he won at Monaco. Since then, he hasn't finished in the top 5, but he's slowly coming back to form as Echoes is out, Jess.
Oh, I'm gonna go forward with this guy. Oh, but he's binned it in turn 1. Very unfortunate incident there. Not a good start to his debut, I must say. But looks like the Mercedes has swapped positions again. But Curly has been doing so well to capitalise, and he and Cisco are joint at the moment with Supercharger Wars. So I can't really decide who gets the Supercharger War because they are joints. I'm going to give it wait a few laps and see what happens. But other mentions, Kai Vicini's gained 4 positions. Ace of Spades has gained 3, and so has JSR. And Gelber Band has gained 2. And I think Cisco might gain another one. No, but he hasn't. He said the same. And VSR Bird has gained 2. And we've had Jax and Iceman. They stay their position. So has Plexit and Ray Ray. But we've got Blitz, Shadow, Kruzitz, Bailey and Miscue dropping down positions. And don't forget, Betty has disconnected. And I don't think he's joined back. No, he hasn't. He's still ghosted. So I think that's his race over, Ruben.
Exactly, I don't think so. It's a shame, but it is what it is. He looks like he lost connection to the internet. JSR heading off through the stadium section as the Mercedes are starting to work together, just swapping each other, getting the slipstream off of each other. And actually not. It looked like to me, okay, it was the gaps trolling me. Because actually, Plexit is very close to Bird. I was going to say the Mercedes are starting to pull away. That's not the case. I apologize for that one. Plexit is going to challenge the Mercedes around the outside. Bird is able to shut the door on him and maintain his P2. One thing I would like to point out, Kruzix has been dropping some spots because he has front wing damage. Kruzix has left side of his front wing damage, and we also witnessed the pit stops of our soft runners. So Blitzkrieg went into the pits. We also had JaxFO going to the pit. There was someone else on the softs, but I guess that someone else, it was Miss Q, but Miss Q went into the wall in lap 2, so
yeah, that was
compromised
the only one.
Race from him.
Yeah, that was the only one that was on
exactly.
the soft. So, that, I'd be intrigued to find out what tire they'll do their final stint on, because we've got Miss Q on the hards, and we've got Blitz on the mediums, and everyone else is on the hards. So it's going to be tough. I think ones are hoping the ones on the hards can make it to the end, but it's going to be quite hard to do that. But you never know what could happen. They may pull up some surprises, but it is going to be quite hard towards the end of the race. And we can see Bird and Ray Ray are swapping positions pretty much the whole race so far, as Bird managing to get a really good run on the Parabolica straight, which kind of reminds me of the Curva Grande in the Monza. And Bird has just done it, so looks like Ray Ray is keeping it clean so far this race, which I think helps that he's got his teammate right in front of him, so he's not worried about it too much.
Yeah, I don't know to what extent there could be a gentleman's agreement in place for those two to just keep swapping positions, because if of course they go side by side into corners, Plexit is getting allowed to keep up with them. So if those two are able to be faster in the second and third sectors and then not be too aggressive towards each other in the DRS zones early on the lap, the Mercedes might start to pull away. Let's see how it develops. Of course, Plexit had a go at Bird on the previous lap. That didn't happen this time around. So I do believe that the Mercedes could start to pull away slightly. Now, looking at your Supercharged award, as Kruzix gets into the pits, he's finally had enough of his front wing damage, so I'm guessing he's going to hard and then soft set the end, so he's going to get compromised into a two-stop strategy. But I mean, I'm not sure if anyone won it last time you checked, because Curly has gained a lot of positions.
It was between Cisco and someone else.
and Curly. It was between Cisco and Curly.
I'm gonna put it as joint. I'm gonna put it as joint because loads of people are pitting now, and it's unfair if we do it now. So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm feeling nice today. Cisco and Curly joint get it.
Okay. So for the first time, we got a giant award distribution there for the Supercharge Award.
And I do have a response from Bailey. His internet died just before the start of the race. So that is why.
I read that in chat. It's just cutting, especially as he's shown signs of very good pace, but he just keeps getting bad luck after a bad luck event. So it is what it is at this point. He's not able to finish the Grand Prix as we have the Gelbovan, JSR, and Kaibashimi not too far away from each other, so we might also have a scrap as JSR just get 3-second time penalty, but we might also have a scrap for the last of the points paying position as Kaibashimi is going to get pressurized by JSR. Cisco in the meantime has gotten jumped by Kruzix, and let's see, will the McLaren has managed easy RS very nicely. He has most of his battery to deploy and he's going to pull himself alongside Kaibashimi. He's not close enough to just clear him by the braking zone, so he's going to have to give the space to the youngster. There's contact between both of them. JSR looks like he got the better exit out of the two of them. Kaibashimi is going to force onto the outside of turn number 7, but he has the inside of turn 8, outside of turn number 10 and 11, and he's going to be forced wide. No, he's not. Very clean racing between the two of them as we approach turn number 12. This could end up in tears. No one wants to give an inch, but ultimately Kaibashimi has to give out P8. JSR takes it away.
Good rate. I got to agree. That was insane race from both of them. I mean, they were both going side by side with that, and due to the fact that in the Parabolica, Kai got a penalty due to the fact that he went off the circuit, and you saw he got an advantage a little bit there, so that was probably why he got it, and that was, but he still got going. He still got going and was trying to chase down JSR, and that's very important. If you have a penalty, it's important you forget about it and concentrate on the race ahead, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Oh, there's contact. Sorry to interrupt you. There's contact between Railway and Plexits. I don't know if that was lag or if Railway just drove through Plexits.
And Cisco's out as well.
Cisco is out. Cisco has crashed somewhere. Cisco is out of the session.
I don't.
Yeah, I think
he hasn't done a battle. It's not in that corner, so he's probably done it in the pits or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but Plexits has dropped down to P9 right in the middle of the battle between Kaibashimi and JSR. But yeah, Plexits, I guess, actually doesn't have front wing damage. I don't know how that is possible.
I think it was decent, because I was watching a league race the other, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, where there was literally 2 cars on top of each other. On the broadcaster's view, it was really weird, but when they were racing, it was absolutely fine. So it might just be a problem on our end.
Yeah, it could have been on our end, but nonetheless, I do believe there was, to some extent, contact between Ray and Shadow. Shadow got a bit wide, so when you are on the inside of that corner, that actually happened to me in my race, because when you are on the outside of that corner and the guy on the inside gets a bit wide and your front tire connects with his rear, no matter how much he tries to give you the space on the outside, the car just doesn't rotate, because he's getting pushed from the other side at the back. So it was probably that forced the Mercedes wide, but then the Mercedes forced to maintain his position on the track, and that resulted in Shadow losing control of his car. Now, I don't know as to what extent Ray just drove through him, because of course our spectator cam trolled us, but yeah, now it's done, and if anything happens, it's up to the stewards. But the Mercedes might now start to employ the strategy I was talking about a while ago. They might establish a gentleman's agreement, and they might start to pull away to ensure the full points this weekend.
Yeah, because they haven't got any points, as you said earlier. Maybe it's VSR Bird's opportunity to get some good points for them, and maybe Ray might be helping them. But Ray's still catching up to Bird, though. But we don't know what the stewards' inquiries are going to be like. If there is a challenge against him, You never know. So I think what he's going to try and do is he's going to try and pull up all the stops. But meanwhile, we got the runner of Plexus and Kai Bacini going battle towards turn 3 and 4 then, as Plexus trying to break the slipstream from Kai Bacini going into the long straight here, the DRS straight then. Kai Bacini's going to get DRS, Plexus to the outside, Kai's going to go onto the inside going into the end of the hairpin. And looks like they're both even. Looks like Kai is going to take the inside line again, going side by side, going into turn 7 now. As Kai's doing a similar move to what he did earlier on. Is he going to be forced to concede? Can he find some feet and challenge the move? And can he go for it? He is going to try and go for it. And this time it's worked for him.
Exactly. There was a bit of argy-bargy there, a bit of rudeness there, perhaps. But Kai Bashimi, for the second time, having to battle through turns 8 and 9, and he managed to make it stick this time around. I do believe Plexus is going to be struggling on tires a little bit, because of course they have the same amount of laps, but Kai Bashimi has harder tires. So in terms of the tire life, it favors the Haas. But so that probably was a big help. As we have our leaders coming to the pits. Shadow goes for hards, Bird goes for hards, Iceman goes for hards, Bird, crucially for him, he rejoins ahead of Kai Bashimi and Plexit. And is he going to have the arrest from the McLaren? Let's find out. No, he does not. But I do believe, yes, Kai Bashimi also does not get the arrest from the Mercedes. So Plexit is going to have another go at the youngster. Even before the braking zone, he got himself ahead with P6.
That was close. That was close. Kai almost tried for a move there, but I think he backed out there because he didn't want to cause any trouble there, which I think was a sensible thing to do for him. I think if there's not any much space, don't go for a move, and that's what he tried. That's what he wanted to do. Because obviously he wants to make sure he scores some points this race. I think that's what he's aiming for each race, and if he keeps this up, he's definitely going to be scoring them. But we've got Ray and Curly then in the pits as well, and interestingly enough, I wonder if the overcut's going to work around here. Most of the time, some of the time it does, some of the time it doesn't. Curly comes out. Obviously, Ray is ahead. And I think we've got Ace of Spades, we've got JSR, VSR Bird. Yes, VSR Bird is ahead of Ray. But we've got Plexit and Ray going for a position, but I think Plexit is on much older tyres, and I think Ray just gets the position there. You don't really want to get hold up too much around here, so I think Ray must be relieved about that.
I don't know how much bad blood might be in these two, because Plexit is ahead of Ray once again, and Ray needs to get a move on. SR is already behind Bird, so Bird is getting himself, of course, he got himself the undercut, and is getting a big advantage as Gilbovan gets himself past Curly, so up to his time, he's sure serve driver of the Williams. But as I was saying, Ray, he needs to because of course he needs to get past Plexit as soon as possible. I don't know as to what extent might Plexit be trying to back him up just to get back to him in a way.
Yeah, I wondered that as well. Maybe Plexit might be helping his teammate a little bit to try and gain some time, but I'm guessing he's struggling with his tyres anyway, and yes, he dives it into the pit as well, and so does Ace of Spades. I think that's everyone that's done a pit stop, I believe, from the medium runners, I think. Well, apart from Blitz, but he pitted earlier on. And I think the ones that are left to pit are the ones that are on the hard tyres. So there's 3 people still on the hard tyres, still yet to pit. The leading hard tyre runner is JSR, but I'm sure Ray's going to pass JSR anytime soon.
Yeah, if not on track, it's just JSR going to have to go to the pits. At least Bird will have a bit of alone time at the moment. Kai Bashimi also has to pit, even though he's getting a bit of battle to Curly as they approach the airpin. Curly just sends it down the inside, and see, that's exactly what I was talking about. Kai Bashimi locked his front tire with the rear tire of Curly, so even if Curly wanted to give him the space, you can't because of that contact. Kai Bashimi got forced wide. Gilbovan is now going to be chomping at the bits to get himself past the Haas, who of course they are both on the same amount of laps done on their tires as the Williams gets himself very wide. I'm surprised they didn't get a penalty. Surely he got a warning. Ace of Spades in the meantime comes out in a P11. He has brand new tires, XFO on 9-lap old mediums, Cruisix ahead of him on 7-lap old hard. So Ace of Spades could get some good points for the Ferraris today.
I think so as well. As he's had some good results and he's had some not bad results. So I think he's hoping that everything else around him doesn't go their way, and he can just take advantage of that. So we'll keep an eye on the Ferrari anyway. It's obviously Crude 6 will still be on the hard tyres, whereas Ace of Spades are on fresher hard tyres. So Ace of Spades might catch up. Oh, we got one Renault retirement. We're not going to have a double Renault point, Sally. Plexus has left the session. Not sure where he's retired. It must be turn 11.
It was in the pits. I was actually on board with him because I saw him entering the pits. He got himself contact, or he spun or something, because he got his front wing completely wiped off his. So he came into the pits, replaced his front wing, and he retired on the spot. He also got himself the 5 seconds for exceeding the speed limit. So yeah, just nightmarish race weekend for both Renaults today.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and Shadow seems to be still struggling with his wheel as well, so it is probably a bad day for the Renaults, to be honest, today, I've got to agree. So hopefully they can bounce back next week, and hopefully, I think it's more about damage limitation, really, and I was hoping he would get his 3rd race win in a row, but I don't think that's going to happen today. But we might see people make mistakes and him take advantage of that, but we will have to wait and see, as we've still got more people to pay. Not much going on at the moment apart from Jack versus Crucis. Now they're on similar tyre life but on different tyres. Jack will have to pit again for a next set of tyres, possibly either the softs or another set of mediums, or maybe the hards. It depends on how much he can push on those tyres. So he's got DRS, but is he going to get a run here? No, I think he's a little bit too further back, but he may have a chance to battle him on his back straight pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to probably be doing that. Of course, he's a bit limited in terms of his ERS, but looking at the onboard of Cruisix is even worse. He's under 20%. Even before the braking zone of turn 8, he was at minus or below 10%. So JaxFO is really putting the pressure on Cruisix, who of course has to get away from him the best way he can at the moment. He needs to use the ERS to counteract the DRS from the racing point. And JaxFO, of course, he has older tires. Those are softer tires though. Cruisix does have the advantage in terms of tire wear, but Cruisix has to pit again, JaxFO has to pit again. JaxFO is going to have a massive undercut on Cruisix because those hards are going for a while. Iceman gets himself a 3-second time penalty as we have Gilbovand and Shadow very close to each other. Kaibashimi leading that duo as those hard tire runners. JSR are all still going on it. Gilbovand gets the RS, is going to make life difficult to the Renault. Ooh, misses his braking zone. Ooh, Kaibashimi there, having the presence of mind to avoid all that. It actually missed his the apex. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or if that was because he saw Shadow coming. Nonetheless, great presence of mind, great awareness there from the youngster, and maintains his 5th place for the time being. Gilbovand might feel a bit offended by that one, because that was a bit rude from Shadow, I would say. Nonetheless, Shadow made it work. He's up to P6 and is pressurizing the Haas at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know how he avoided that, because if I was in his car, then I probably would have went into the wall. So yeah, it is very important to look at your mirrors at this point, especially if someone like Shadow is pressuring you like that. And Kai's got to be very aware, and that's what he's doing. And he's going to be made aware again as he goes past turn 2. Shadow's going to get DRS. Kai backs him off there pretty nicely, defends well, going into turn 3 and then approaching turn 4. But Shadow, surely I think might get the run before the braking zone on the DRS. It's very OP around here for Shadow, as I think he gets past Kai Bacchini. Yes, he does. But the hard tyres are starting to degrade a little bit, whereas Shadow is on newer tyres. So I think the hard tyre runners will be pitting soon, because the end of lap 20 is where we'll expect people to go onto the mediums. For the likes of Kai, Galbaband, and possibly Krutitz as well. So
it was JSR also pitted. JSR was also that guy. He was in 3rd place.
He got overtaken.
Now. Yeah, he got overtaken by Curly into turn 6 on 2 laps ago. and he just called it quits. He got himself a bit of slipstream of Curly as well, kept himself a semi-decent pace, but he didn't want to just lose a lap where he doesn't get DRS or slipstream from the racing point. So he just called it quits, went into the pits, went for the mediums, and it does have a gap on Kaibashimi and Gilbovan, so he's further compounding that by undercutting them, which I don't think is the worst idea ever. Going to assure himself some good points. JSR, who hasn't raced, well, he has raced, but he got 4th place at Silverstone, but he hasn't been the most regular driver. He got himself a podium at Azerbaijan, and since then, he's been taking part of one race and missing the next. So he got 3rd in Azerbaijan, missed Spain, 9th in Monaco, missed Canada, 6th at France, missed Austria, gets 4th at Silverstone.
Oh!
And was there
contact? There was a bit of contact with him and JSR, yeah. But I don't think Ace of Spades has got damage. If it is, it might be a bit of end-play damage. I don't know.
It doesn't.
No, that's all right then. That was very lucky from Ace of Spades, but that's not going to do his tyres any good. But I'm just going to look to see if JSR doesn't have any damage either. So they got very lightly about that. But meanwhile, we've got Galbaban. He's still trying to catch up to Kai Bacchini, but Kai Bacchini seems to be having much better straight line speed compared to the Williams.
And we do have Iceman starting to lurk on the background from these two. It's starting to become another trio. It just was a trio with Plexits, I believe, a while ago. Now it's becoming another trio as Iceman is coming into the pictures. We have JaxFO coming to the pits. He's going to get another set of mediums as he is on the 2-stop strategy. From the start, as you can see, he didn't gain much from starting on the softs and pitting that early. So, yeah, he took himself out of the cards as Iceman is going to send it. Gilbovan. What? He actually tried the switchback. Lets you get the best exit. Iceman is going to have... They are both on mode 4 of ERS. So, they had a sort of similar acceleration. They were side by side by a while. Gilbovan dropped down to mode 0 just to save a bit. Iceman is struggling on his ERS management. He does move himself to P6, but Gilbovan once again gets dived down the inside. He needs to start covering up that one.
I think he needs to work more on his defensive skills, because what a move from Iceman. Definitely one of the moves of the race so far, I think. Attacking like that is amazing. And we've got our second hard run. Well, I think we've got the remaining hard runners now. Kai Bacchini and Galbaban into the pit lane to go on for a set of the medium tyres then. I think they're going to be very close coming out of the pit lane then, since they're close to each other. But I think Galbaban has disadvantage of hanging the pit lane closer, a bit further away to go to. But Kai just about goes ahead. So I think it's I don't know. I'm just going to just go on board with Galbaban now. And yeah, I think he must have got held up in the pits, because the gap was 9/10 and to Kai, and now it's 2.4.
Yeah, there's also a big advantage. Like, if you come out of the pits first, you start accelerating while your rival is still in the pits. So a gap does open if you are first to be able to remove the pit limiter. Well, it's going to be now a matter of Gilbovan working again to catch up to Kai Bacchini. Kai Bacchini has less than half of the energy available on his battery. Gilbovan has about 70%, so he does have that bit extra of his ERS, so maybe he can get a better management of his resources and close in on that last of the points paying positions. Of course, people like Blitzkrieg are going to pit again, Kruzix is going to pit again, so Kai Bacchini and Gilbovan are going to start undercutting all of them. I also predict them to start closing in on guys like Ace of Spades, who is on hards and older hards. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one develops. As soon as I mention it, there it goes. Blitzkrieg is going for another set of mediums, I would suspect. And yes, he does go into another set of mediums. So he's already going to get behind Kai Bacchini and Gilbovan. So both of them are already in top 10. Now it's a matter of, as Corporal Carrot almost got collected by the German of the Williams there, as Corporal Carrot has a spin.
That was close.
Yeah, it was very close into turn 2. And Corporal Carrot was just parked on the apex there. Of course, he had just spun, so he didn't... There's nothing he could have done. He had just gotten back under control of his car. But yeah, that could have been dangerous. Corporal Carrot is also having a mare of a race. He didn't race since Monaco, where he crashed out of the race. So not an improvement in form for the British driver after his absence.
No, it's not. It's a bit of a shame, but he is still going, and he's probably going to wait if anyone else makes a mistake. But the more advantage is if you keep going, you're going to learn from your mistakes, and you're going to focus on yourself and say, right, what have I done wrong this race? What am I going to do better in Hungary, which is the next race next week? And I think the better you're improved, the time you're improved will be when you're on the track. And when you're not on the track, you won't be improving. So Corporal Carrot is basically practicing for next week pretty much, making sure he can manage his ERS effectively and try and get some good up. Maybe he might go into the softs at the end to try and go for fastest lap, which is possible. You're not going to lose a position anyway. He's already 28 seconds down from Miss Q, so he's not going to lose anything, and he could take away the point away from the top 10, because only the top 10 will get the points. And we got the racing point catching up to Ray Ray in P2, so it's still looking like a Mercedes 1-2, but can Curly stop that in the final 10 laps of this race?
Exactly. Also, since you brought up the fastest lap, JSR is currently the holder of the fastest lap on his mediums with a 1:14.0. So let's see if he can hold that until the end. I don't know if someone is going to try to play spoilers, but at the moment, the gap is shrinking between Curly and Ray Ray, and ooh, a bit of a tank slapper as Curly steps on the curb of turn number 4, the inside curb, got himself unstable there. He's going to be losing out all the way into the airpin because obviously got a worse acceleration. Is that Iceman? No, that's the ghost of Bailey Thompson getting lapped by Bird. So Curly is getting closer to Ray Ray, but Ray Ray has also been getting closer to Bird. The gap has extended to 2 seconds. Not sure what happened there, but at the end of the previous lap, it was 1.1 seconds from first to second and from second to third. So things might get very, very exciting in the laps to come. In the meantime, we have Ace of Spades catching up to Kaibashimi. Or sorry, Kaibashimi, I guess, overtook Ace of Spades.
True. Yeah, that was true. Kaibashimi on those mediums. Yeah, Kaibashimi on those mediums, able to get past in the Parabolica, and he went around the inside, and there he goes. Kaibashimi now up into 8th place. So equaling is actually, he probably won't be equaling his best finish because he's got another penalty. He's up to 6 seconds now.
Exactly. Well, could you take a look at the penalties, by the way, especially in the top 10?
I will. Yeah, I will look for it. Bird has got only 1 warning, so he's got no penalties. Ray Ray has got 1 penalty. Curly has got 1 penalty. Shadow has got 1 penalty. Iceman has got 1 penalty. Crucix has got 1 penalty. JSR has got 3 penalties. Kai has got 2. Ace of Spades has got 0. And Galbavan has got 3.
Okay, so Ace of Spades could get P7.
Yeah.
Ace of Spades, I mean, he couldn't get P7 because he's not within. Yeah, he's not within. It's 8 seconds between Kaibashimi to JSR. So he's getting Kai, but not getting JSR.
No.
At least at this moment, he's not getting JSR. So it is what it is. But yeah, if anyone keeps making mistakes, Ace of Spades could capitalize, and he's doing very well for that one. So you were saying Bird doesn't have a penalty, right? And Ray Ray has.
Yeah, Bird has got just 1 warning. That's it. He's been keeping it clean all race, whereas his teammates 1 penalty.
Exactly, and then most of people in the top 10 have 1 penalty. Curly has 1 penalty, Shadow has 1 penalty. So if they want to get moves done, they have to be on the track, while Bird can just sit down, and even if he gets overtaken by Ray Ray, he can still just relax, save his resources, and not lose time to him. And then maybe if he wants, just pounce on him and take the lead in the last laps anyways. So very good race from Bird on his debut, and he's doing very, very well today. And yeah, I wouldn't expect him to take the win. I know he's fast, but I wasn't expecting to take the win today.
Yeah, I
And
would. He was a dark horse, to be honest. I thought he was gonna qualify like P7 or P8, and then he just was doing, and then he just popped it out of nowhere, and he started 4th place and still in the lead. And I know that Bird. He's a good overtaker. He's good for great overtakes, and I've seen him in other leagues before. And obviously, you know what league I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say what. But I the other drivers in this league are so much faster, but Bird is able to keep up with them, which is very impressive. And sometimes when the other drivers have a bad race, it's up to people like Bird to capitalise it. And Bird's already pulling away from his teammate, and if he can keep up the no penalty streak, you know, he could join a list of debutants who scored a win on his debut. Obviously, Infamous got a win on his debut as well. And Curly got a good result on his debut as well. So, you know, it's looking like to be a good result for him. I'm just going to see as Galbavan is really catching up to Ace of Spades in the Ferrari. So Galbavan in the Williams did exactly the same to what Kai Piccini did in the Haas as he gets past him. And he's up into P9 and going to try and catch up to the Haas driver at the moment. It is going to be a tough call because they're on similar tyres, but it is anyone's game. Galbavan, I do believe, has less penalties, so I think he is going to. I don't know. I think he's going to gain less penalties he's going to gain 8th anyway, because he's 4.7 seconds, and Kai's got 6 seconds worth of penalties.
Yeah, well, of course it depends how much time he might lose battling Ace of Spades. Of course, Ace of Spades has been overtaken by Gilbovan, but he isn't losing too much time. He's still in the RS range, so let's see how it develops as we look onto the battle or potential battle for the last of the top 5 spots, as Kruzix is going to get the RS on Iceman. And Iceman, I was saying a while ago, he was struggling on the RS, and he still is. Of course, the Belgium driver is going to try to take himself on the Mode 4 of the RS, but it's just not enough. Kruzix, of course, the power of the Slipstream DRS and Mode 4 of the RS is good enough to get him around the outside. Of course, they're going to have a bit of a drag race now into turn number 7. A bit of squeeze from Iceman is going to become the inside line into turn 8. Ooh, another squeeze there from Kruzix, keeping it clean, just on the limits of legality, but nicely done. Hard but fair racing is what Iceman just implemented, and he did well to maintain his P5. Looking at chat, it's Delano. I'm guessing it's a Shadow. Plexit. Yeah, and he's saying that the incident between himself and Ray was exactly the same on the screen as it was on the stream. So,
so it wasn't a glitch then.
Yeah, that's probably going to have some action done from the stewards, but of course for that there needs to be a report, and well, we can have our decision, but at the end of the day,
it's
not our decision, our opinion. Our opinion is what we meant to say, but at the end of the day, obviously it's not up to us, as we have a battle between Curly and Ray, and Kruzix and Iceman are also going at it, Jess.
Yeah, battle's going towards the end of this Grand Prix, which is really what we need to see. We've seen Iceman and Kruzix battle for a few laps previous to this as well, but I think Iceman is managing to hold on, really. They've each got 1 penalty each, so it's really pretty much going to be battle for position as we go towards the end of this race then, as he tries to pull away. And I'll keep an eye on the gap between Curly and Ray as we get to the end of this race, coming up soon as well. And a few people going off just a little bit off the corner, just kissing the curb a little bit, probably due to the fact that they're tired. Ray is on his 2nd penalty, so no matter what happens, Curly is going to be ahead of him. He's going to be ahead of him anyway, because Ray's got 1 penalty. Actually no, Curly's got 1 penalty as well, so yeah, I think Curly doesn't need to battle on track, but he's going to anyway, and there's no response from Ray unless he's going to challenge. No, he's not. So Curly is looking really fast at the moment. He could challenge for the win because he is closing up.
Yeah, he is closing up, but he has 3 seconds of penalties over Bird's 0. So
I mean, on track. That's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, he could overtake on track. Yeah, but do you imagine if he just got 3 seconds on like 2 laps over Bird? That would be absolutely insane.
I've seen that in a few races.
Insane.
I've seen that in a few races where, like I think it was in Bahrain, where I thought someone had no penalties and they were going to win the race, and then I had a massive shock that they didn't win, and I was like, what? And it turned out they got a penalty on the second to last corner on the final lap. That is just awful. So hopefully we won't see that today. We've got 2 more laps to go, and it is Ray Ray's chance to pounce now to see if he could try to pull up the gap. He really needs to if he wants to not lose many positions, but I think he's going to be alright, as the gap between Ray Ray and Shadow is about 8 seconds, and Ray Ray's on two penalties, so he should be alright, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly. The Renault, I also believe, as a penalty. I believe Shadow also has a penalty of his own.
Yeah,
so
quite a lot of people have penalties, I think, except Bird at the moment. And
exactly, as Kruzix got DRS, I have no idea why. Kruzix got DRS as Iceman is behind him, but Kruzix got DRS anyways. I have no idea what happened.
I don't know either, but it might have been that in turn 3 they might have overtaken and they might have gained it from the detection zone.
No, I know what it was. It was Bailey Thompson's ghost.
Oh, he's got it from Bailey Thompson's ghost. Oh, okay. So I'm guessing teammates helping in that respect, even though Bailey doesn't know that yet. As Jack and Blitz are going about for 11th, they're still going at it, even though they're probably not going to get any points. But you never know, because obviously the penalties right at the back of the field might change things a little bit, as anything can happen, and maybe any one of those two could get points. You never know. And I'm just seeing Iceman is still catching up to the Red Bull. I don't think he's going to be enough at the moment, but he's getting a very good run approaching turn 2 into turn 3. No, not close enough. I think he's backed off his ERS a little bit. And he's not managing his ERS well, but I think they're roughly about the same. I think Iceman just has less to play with, but he's going for the move anyway. He's on overtake mode. Can he challenge the Red Bull for 5th? Yes, he can.
Yeah, I've also seen, while you were commentating on Iceman versus Kruzix, I also was following Ray Ray on board, and Ray Ray had a nasty bump on the back of Curly into the hairpin. Curly managed to keep the car under control as Iceman goes wide. There's a bit of a mistake, overcooking his brakes, and he goes wide, allows Kruzix to catch up, and we are about to start the last lap of this Grand Prix. Kruzix lets Iceman through by getting mode 0 of ERS, and Iceman also has been running on mode 0, but Kruzix does have a bit more of ERS, so he can push out of turn 1 and then out of turn 3 as well. As Blitzkrieg and JaxFO get a bit of a battle there, JaxFO is on the losing end of that one, as Iceman gets a 3-second penalty. Iceman out of the last corner. Ooh, Kruzix gets wide, loses the rear. Crucially for him, doesn't get a penalty. Kruzix, though, that was a scare because he got sideways out of turn 1, managed to keep control of his car, and let's see how it goes. He's going to have DRS. Ray Ray also had a mistake somewhere because he lost 2 seconds to Curly. Shadow might actually end up taking that 3rd place, but Kruzix is going to have the slipstream, going to have the DRS, is going to pull to the outside of turn number 6. Let's see how it goes. Will Iceman answer under the brakes? Yes, he does. He's going to squeeze the Red Bull to the outside. It's going to be a drag race now, and there is JSR as Prime sitting the house for that battle. Kruzix still side to Iceman. Let's see, as the Belgian driver is going to have the outside of turn number 9. He managed to defend 5th place a while ago on that exact same corner. Kruzix is smarter this time around. He's the one to pinch Iceman to the inside of turn number 10, and he does make it stick. He does get P5. What a battle there from Kruzix. What a battle from the two of them, as Bird is going to get himself through the line to be the first debutee to take home the win in the Mercedes to the German Grand Prix. So great performance from him. Ray Ray is going to claim P2. Curly at the end of it gets P3, so he might have picked up a penalty somewhere along the way. Shadow gets P4. Kruzix gets P5. Iceman is going to get P6. JSR P7. Kai Bashimi claims 8th place. Gilbefand in P9, and Ace of Spades closes the top 10. By the way, he wasn't the first debutee to win, but the car that has only had debutees to win has been the Mercedes.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Infamous is always a reserve, so that's why the Mercedes have 0 points. But yeah, there you have it. Every single debutee that is raced for the Mercedes has won.
But they actually get points now. Double points. A 1-2 at least.
Exactly, and they didn't get the fastest lap. That was courtesy of JSR, so well done for the reserve driver to the driving for the McLaren. So he's also going to help himself in the points. But yeah, that was an exciting closing laps.
That was, especially between the Red Bull in particular and Iceman as well. They were fighting throughout all of that, and they were just not giving up as well. And it's a great rivalry to have. And even with all those penalties flying everywhere, it didn't make a difference at all to the positions. I don't think the positions changed. So I'm guessing they were either too far away to make a difference, or they had the same penalties. But a massive well done to the Mercedes crew, and also well done to Curly for getting another podium, and also Kai Bacchini, another 8th place finish. Is that his normal position, consistency? I don't know, but I swear every time I commentate on him, he finishes 8th, so it must be his lucky number.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I think he's number 14 on the car.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Maybe he should change it. And
yeah,
he can't run 8. He can't run 8 because that's Grosjean number. So he can't run 8, which 16? Is unfortunate.
No, that's Leclerc.
It's Leclerc is 16. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Right, standings, quick.
Well, there you have it. It's Bird taking the win, followed by his teammate Ray Curly closes top 3 after starting in P9. Great job from him. Shadow in P4 in the best of the Renaults, followed by Kluzix, Iceman, JSR, Kabishimi, Ace of Spades, and Gulbovan closes the top 10. Then you have Blitzkrieg, Jackson, Billy Thompson, Miss Q, Copper, Carey, Plexit, Cisco, Echoes, and Superior GR.
Yes, he timed it well.
A couple of them have actually retired, so they had their cut short by either driving mistakes or just disconnections, which is obviously not what we want to see, but it is what happened this afternoon. So, yeah, I guess this is it for today, isn't it, Jess?
Yes, and next week we go to Hungary, and it's like Monaco without the walls, basically, and that's what it is. It is now than most other tracks, and but I'm looking forward to it. It's a challenge for the drivers, and it can throw a spanner in the works as well. And after what we saw tonight, where the championship leaders were nowhere to be seen, and we saw a new winner, it could throw this championship wide open if the championship leaders make mistakes.
Exactly. Well, in terms of the track, of course, we are getting to the seat of Motiorod, but that track, of course, is very narrow, as you said. Well, it's the Monaco without the barriers. And of course, I believe it is turn 6, the quick left-hander at the end of the first sector. From my experience of commentating other races, some drivers that might be pushing a bit on the limits of grip, the car can get unstable through that curb. So depending on the setups, we might have someone bin it. And of course, the weather, it's not the first time it would be playing up its tricks. So yeah, it could be, despite the narrow nature of the track. Of course, this is not real life racing. The stakes aren't that high because, of course, you don't have to pay millions of currency, whatever it is, to build up the cars. So people can be a bit riskier with their moves. And yeah, it's sure to get a spicy race nonetheless. So this is it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. It's the bell icon for any notifications of whenever we are about to start a live stream or to post a video. Hope to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.